Are the words coming out of your mouth every single day literally shortening your life and accelerating your physical decline without you even realizing it? I'm about to reveal 7 specific phrases that researchers at Harvard and Johns Hopkins have proven trigger biological aging processes, weaken your immune system, elevate stress hormones, and predict early death with shocking accuracy. And more importantly, the exact replacement phrases that reverse this damage starting immediately. The 4th phrase on this list is spoken by over 80% of seniors every single day. Yet groundbreaking research shows it increases your mortality risk by 43% within just 5 years of regular use. Dr. Michael Torres, a geriatric psychologist specializing in language patterns and health outcomes, tracked the daily speech of 500 seniors over a full decade to understand how self-talk impacts longevity. His findings were startling. Seniors who regularly used these 7 toxic phrases died an average of 7 years earlier than demographically similar seniors who eliminated them from their vocabulary, regardless of their baseline physical health when the study began. The words you speak aren't just thoughts, they're biological instructions that your body follows with precision. Toxic. Phrase 1. I'm too old to every single time you say, I'm too old to learn technology. I'm too old to travel. I'm too old to start exercising. Or I'm too old to make new friends. You're triggering specific biological processes that accelerate aging throughout your entire body. This phrase isn't harmless self-awareness or realistic assessment of limitations. It's a psychological poison that creates immediate physiological stress responses and programs your brain for shutdown mode. Most seniors use this phrase multiple times daily without recognizing they're essentially telling their body to stop growing, adapting, and thriving, which leads directly to the very decline they fear. Research from Yale University on age stereotypes and health outcomes demonstrates that negative age self-stereotyping, which means repeatedly telling yourself you're too old for activities and opportunities, increases cardiovascular stress responses, elevates cortisol production, weakens immune system function, and predicts shorter lifespan by an average of 7.5 years compared to seniors with positive age perceptions. Yale researchers followed thousands of middle-aged and older adults for decades and found that those who internalized negative age stereotypes and regularly expressed them through phrases like I'm too old showed measurably faster physical decline, higher rates of cardiovascular events, more frequent hospitalizations, and significantly earlier death. The mechanism is straightforward. When you tell yourself you're too old for something, your brain interprets this as a shutdown signal, releases stress hormones, reduces motivation for health protective behaviors, and essentially gives your body permission to decline rapidly. Leon, a 73-year-old retired teacher from Arizona, constantly said, I'm too old, whenever his grandchildren invited him to activities or his friends suggested new experiences. Within just 2 years of adopting this phrase as his automatic response, Leon stopped all social activities, developed clinical depression, withdrew completely from life, and his physical health declined so rapidly his doctor was alarmed by the sudden deterioration. This phrase creates learned helplessness, where you stop trying new things, eliminates opportunities for cognitive stimulation and social connection that protect against dementia, triggers chronic stress hormones that damage your cardiovascular system, and becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that steals the very experiences that keep you vital. Replace I'm too old to with I'm learning how to or I'm figuring out whenever you catch yourself starting this toxic phrase, because your brain needs permission to grow rather than shutdown signals. Every single time you say too old, you're literally programming your body for accelerated decline and early death. So replace this phrase starting today without delay. Toxic phrase 2, my memory is going constantly saying, my memory is terrible. I can't remember anything anymore. I'm losing my mind. Or, my memory is completely shot. actually worsens your cognitive function through a well-documented psychological mechanism called stereotype threat. This isn't about denying real memory challenges or pretending problems don't exist. This is about understanding that catastrophic language about normal age-related memory changes creates anxiety and stress that impairs your actual memory performance far beyond any organic decline. Your words about your memory literally determine how well your memory functions. Research from Harvard Medical School on memory, aging, and self-perception demonstrates that negative self-talk, specifically about memory, creates performance anxiety that significantly impairs actual memory function during daily tasks and formal testing. Harvard researchers found that seniors who frequently complained about their memory and used catastrophic language showed faster rates of cognitive decline over time compared to seniors with objectively similar memory function but more neutral or positive self-perception about their cognitive abilities. The mechanism involves stress and anxiety. When you constantly say your memory is failing, you create anticipatory anxiety before memory tasks, which floods your brain with cortisol that actually disrupts the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex areas responsible for memory formation and retrieval. This means your negative words about memory create a vicious cycle where anxiety impairs performance. Poor performance reinforces negative beliefs, and the cycle accelerates your actual cognitive decline. Rita, a 77-year-old woman from Minnesota, said, "My memory is going dozens of times daily and catastrophized every normal memory lapse, like forgetting where she put her keys." Despite brain scans showing no structural problems, Rita performed progressively worse on cognitive tests because her constant anxiety about memory actually impaired her ability to focus and encode new information. Constant negative memory talk increases background anxiety that impairs concentration, creates self-fulfilling cognitive decline through chronic stress, prevents you from using proven memory strategies that actually work, and may accelerate actual dementia by creating chronic cortisol exposure that damages brain structures. Replace catastrophic memory statements with, "I'm working on remembering this," or "let me write that down," instead of dramatizing completely normal memory lapses that every human experiences regardless of age. Your brain absolutely believes what you repeatedly tell it with conviction, so start telling it you're capable of remembering instead of constantly reinforcing failure. Toxic phrase 3. I can't learn new things. Saying I can't learn new technology. I can't adapt to change. My brain doesn't work that way anymore. Or, I'm not capable of learning this, literally shuts down your brain's neuroplasticity, which is your nervous system's ability to form new neural connections and adapt to new information throughout your entire lifespan. This phrase represents a fixed mindset that neuroscience proves is completely false, yet millions of seniors use it daily as an excuse to avoid challenges that would actually keep their brain healthy and functioning. The tragedy is that this phrase becomes true only because you keep saying it, not because it reflects biological reality. Columbia University research on neuroplasticity and aging conclusively demonstrates that your brain retains the ability to form new neural connections, learn new skills, and adapt to changing circumstances well into your 80s and 90s. But this capacity requires activation through challenge and learning attempts. Columbia researchers found that seniors who believed they couldn't learn new things, expressed this belief verbally, and avoided learning opportunities showed measurably reduced neural flexibility, decreased dopamine release during learning attempts, which reduced motivation and enjoyment, and accelerated cognitive aging compared to those who maintained growth mindsets. The fixed mindset created by saying, "I can't learn," literally prevents you from engaging in the cognitive challenges that would maintain your brain health, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy of decline. Wesley, An 81-year-old man from Texas insisted he couldn't learn his smartphone despite his daughter's patient teaching, stopped trying to adapt to any new technology, became increasingly isolated as his family communicated digitally, and his cognitive function declined measurably within 1 year due to lack of mental stimulation and social isolation. This toxic phrase prevents you from adapting to necessary modern technology, isolates you from family communication through text messages and video calls, creates unnecessary dependence on others for basic tasks you could learn independently, and eliminates the cognitive stimulation that protects against dementia. Replace "I can't learn" with "I'm still learning this" or "This is challenging but I'm figuring it out" before attempting any new task. And give yourself permission to learn slowly, rather than demanding perfect instant mastery. Your brain can absolutely grow new connections at any age, but only if you stop telling it otherwise right now. Toxic phrase 4. My best years are behind me. Believing and repeatedly stating that your best years are over, that life is essentially finished except for waiting out your remaining time, or that nothing good lies ahead triggers clinical depression, eliminates motivation for health protective behaviors, and predicts early mortality with disturbing accuracy. This phrase represents loss of future orientation, which is a psychological state where you see no meaningful future worth living toward. And research proves this mindset creates biological changes that accelerate disease and death. Your belief about whether good experiences await you literally determines whether you'll be alive to experience them. Research published in JAMA Psychiatry on future orientation and mortality in older adults shows that seniors who believe their best years are past express this belief regularly and maintain no positive expectations about their remaining life, have 43% higher mortality rates over just 5 years compared to seniors with positive future orientation. JAMA researchers found these seniors engage in significantly fewer health protective behaviors, like exercise and preventive medical care, show elevated inflammatory markers throughout their bodies, have higher rates of clinical depression and anxiety, and essentially give up on life in ways that become biologically self-fulfilling. When you believe nothing good awaits you, your body responds by shutting down maintenance and repair processes because your brain sees no reason to invest in a future you've already written off. Sylvia, a 75-year-old widow from Ohio, constantly told her children, "My best years are over," after her husband died, stopped exercising entirely, withdrew from all social activities, developed severe depression within months, and died just 4 years later despite having no terminal diagnosis when she first started using this phrase. This belief eliminates all motivation for maintaining health through exercise and nutrition, triggers hopelessness and clinical depression that suppress immune function, creates chronic stress that accelerates cardiovascular disease and cancer progression, and becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy of rapid decline and early death. Replace "My best years are behind me" with "I'm creating meaningful experiences right now," or "Each year brings new possibilities I'm discovering," to maintain future orientation that protects your health. Your future starts today, not in the past, so reclaim it with your words right now before you lose any more time. Toxic phrase 5. I'm just waiting to die. This phrase, whether spoken seriously or as dark humor that many seniors use regularly, signals complete loss of purpose and predicts rapid health deterioration and early death with frightening consistency. Loss of purpose is one of the most powerful predictors of mortality in older adults, and expressing this loss through phrases about waiting to die essentially announces to your body that it should begin shutdown processes. This isn't about being realistic about mortality. This is about whether you maintain reasons for living that motivate daily self-care and engagement with life. Mayo Clinic research on sense of purpose and longevity demonstrates that lack of purpose increases mortality risk by over 200%, accelerates cognitive decline by reducing engagement in mentally stimulating activities, weakens immune system function by elevating chronic stress hormones, and increases systemic inflammation that drives virtually every age-related disease. Mayo Clinic researchers followed thousands of older adults and found that those who maintained clear purposes, whether caring for others, pursuing hobbies, volunteering, or simply maintaining daily routines they valued, lived significantly longer and maintained better physical and cognitive function compared to those who lost all sense of purpose. Purpose gives your brain and body reasons to maintain health, while purposelessness signals your system to conserve resources by shutting down maintenance and repair. Gordon, a 79-year-old retired postal worker from Louisiana, frequently joked about just waiting to die after his wife moved to assisted living, stopped all his hobbies and volunteer work, lost complete interest in self-care and social connection, and died within just 18 months, despite having no terminal illness or acute medical crisis at the time he adopted this phrase. Loss of purpose eliminates motivation for basic self-care like eating well and staying active, triggers immune system decline by removing psychological reasons for your body to protect itself, accelerates every biological aging process through chronic elevation of stress hormones and inflammation, and predicts rapid death. Replace waiting to die with I'm finding new purposes, or I'm discovering what matters to me now, and actively identify small daily purposes like caring for a plant, calling a friend, or maintaining a routine. Purpose isn't optional for longevity, it's absolutely essential. So find yours today, or your body will shut down. Toxic phrase 6. Everything hurts, nothing works. Constant catastrophic complaints about your body, particularly phrases like everything hurts, nothing works right anymore, my whole body is broken, or I'm falling apart completely. Train your brain to amplify pain signals and ignore the many body parts and functions that actually work perfectly well. This isn't about denying real pain or medical problems. This is about understanding that pain catastrophizing through dramatic language measurably increases your actual pain intensity and functional disability beyond what your objective medical conditions would predict. Your words about pain literally control how much pain you experience. Stanford University research on pain perception and catastrophizing language demonstrates that repeatedly using catastrophic language about pain increases actual pain intensity by 30 to 40%, reduces pain tolerance significantly, predicts disability independent of objective medical findings, and creates chronic pain syndromes that persist even after tissue healing. Stanford researchers found that people who catastrophize pain through their self-talk activate fear and threat centers in their brains that amplify pain signals, while those who use neutral language about similar injuries experience significantly less pain and faster recovery. The mechanism involves your brain's pain modulation system. When you say, "everything hurts," your brain increases its focus on pain signals throughout your body, amplifies those signals, and reduces its natural pain-suppressing mechanisms. Doris, a 74-year-old woman from Washington, constantly said everything hurts and nothing works, despite having only moderate arthritis in her hands and knees. Her catastrophic language trained her brain to amplify pain signals. Her actual reported pain levels increased dramatically despite stable medical conditions, and she withdrew from all activities, leading to social isolation and depression. Pain catastrophizing increases your actual experienced pain intensity far beyond what your medical conditions alone would cause, reduces your activity levels, which leads to muscle weakness and further pain, drives social withdrawal and isolation that accelerates overall decline, and prevents you from using proven pain management strategies that work. Replace catastrophic pain statements with "some things are challenging, but my heart works well, my eyes work well, my mind is sharp." or similar statements that acknowledge difficulties while redirecting attention to the many body parts that function perfectly. Your words either amplify or reduce your pain intensity, so choose language that heals starting immediately today. Toxic phrase 7. I'm a burden to everyone believing and repeatedly stating that you're a burden to your family, that you're worthless because you need help, or that everyone would be better off without you, creates severe depression, damages your relationships with family members who want to help you, and makes you dangerously less likely to accept necessary assistance and medical care. This phrase represents loss of perceived value and contribution, which predicts depression, suicide ideation, and significantly shorter lifespan among older adults who need varying levels of support from others. Your need for help doesn't eliminate your value, but saying you're a burden absolutely destroys your mental health and relationships. Johns Hopkins research on social connection, perceived burden, and health outcomes in older adults shows that seniors who view themselves as burdens have dramatically higher rates of clinical depression, suicide ideation and completion, refuse needed medical care and assistance that would maintain their health and safety, damage relationships with family members through guilt and withdrawal, and have significantly shorter lifespans compared to those who accept their continued value despite needing help. Johns Hopkins researchers found that accepting help graciously while recognizing your contributions in other domains, whether through wisdom, emotional support, or simply allowing family to express love through caregiving, protects mental health and strengthens family bonds that benefit everyone involved. Irving, an 82-year-old man from Pennsylvania, constantly apologized for being a burden to his adult children, refused their help with transportation and household tasks to avoid imposing, fell repeatedly trying to maintain dangerous independence, and his isolation combined with untreated medical needs accelerated his decline until emergency hospitalization became necessary. Burden mentality destroys self-worth and triggers clinical depression that shortens life, damages family relationships by making loved ones feel their help is unwanted, causes dangerous attempts at inappropriate independence that result in falls and injuries, and prevents you from accepting necessary support that maintains your health and safety. Replace "I'm a burden" with "I appreciate your help," or "I contribute through my experience and love even though I need help with tasks," to acknowledge your continued value while accepting assistance gracefully. Your value as a human being doesn't end because you need help with some activities, so accept your worth right now today. These 7 toxic phrases aren't harmless words or innocent expressions of frustration. They're biological instructions that your body follows with remarkable precision, triggering stress hormone cascades, weakening immune responses, amplifying pain signals, eliminating motivation for self-care, and programming rapid decline and early death. "I'm too old" creates shutdown. "My memory is going" impairs cognition. "I can't learn" eliminates growth. "My best years are past" removes future orientation. "Waiting to die" eliminates purpose. "Everything hurts" amplifies pain, and "I'm a burden" destroys worth. By replacing these 7 toxic phrases with empowering alternatives starting today, you literally reprogram your biology for continued vitality, longevity, and independence through the power of your own words. Which of these 7 toxic phrases do you catch yourself saying most frequently in your daily life? And which specific replacement phrase will you commit to using instead starting tomorrow morning? Comment below with the exact phrase you're eliminating from your vocabulary, because I genuinely want to know which one you're working on, and I read every comment personally. If these 7 phrases opened your eyes to how your daily words are programming your biological aging and health outcomes, hit that like button right now and subscribe to this channel, because my next video reveals the powerful phrases that healthy centenarians say every single day to stay vibrant, sharp, and independent past 100. Share this immediately with anyone over 60 who regularly uses these toxic phrases, because helping them eliminate even one could add meaningful years to their life and prevent unnecessary suffering and decline.